What's up, fellas? Welcome to Pick Central on the Barstool Sportsbook YouTube channel. Little Monday edition. We are live and joined, as always, got Ev to my left. What's up, Big Ev? How are you?
Good to see you feeling good. Very, very good gambling weekend. Spirits are high. Very high.
I noticed, I looked at the Pick Central records a minute ago. Everybody had good weekends. Rico Bosco also had a good weekend.
I needed it to get back out of the cellar. It would have been nice if the Mets picked up the sweep. I just thought the Mets were a bet every day at that point.
They fucked me yesterday.
Yes.
I was on them yesterday.
But, they probably, after that double dip Saturday, they probably hit the town a little hard on Saturday night.
You think in Chicago?
I think so. At least did a team meal or, they probably went to River North.
Started celebrating the All-Star break. The All-Star break came a little early for them. Well, so basically, Major League Baseball, we got the Home Run Derby tonight. The All-Star break is, I believe, is it Monday through Wednesday or Monday?
I think there's games back Friday.
Okay, so Monday through Thursday because they made it a little longer. That was part of it. The All-Star game's tomorrow night. We've got Home Run Derby picks today. Pete Alonso, obviously the favorite after the show he put on last year at plus 165. Kyle Schwarber, plus 290. And then we've got some longer shots. Those are kind of the only picks we made today.
No, there are some games. We got games on Thursday, actually.
Okay.
We got like six.
Got a couple back?
We had 6 games on Thursday.
All right.
Included, we got 2 doubleheaders, so but 6 games.
That's got to be some makeups or the late start. I thought that they were all right. That's good.
Yankees-Stros got a doubleheader. The A's got a doubleheader in there.
All right, good.
So we got games.
We'll have enough.
That makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, it's good. Hot Ice will be back. That's good.
Okay, so the plan for this week, a few things going on. We're gonna we'll have a little bit. I don't know if we're gonna do it. We're not gonna do it today. We'll have maybe Wednesday a little mid-season baseball review. Who's been disappointing? Who's been good? Kind of preview the second half. SEC Media Day starts in Atlanta today. Hopefully some stuff that'll be interesting will come out about that to talk about later in the week. I want to get through the weekend. Ev, UFC Long Island. You went on Saturday. I watched my guy, Matt Schnell, who I've known a while from Shreveport, stole the freaking show.
Absolutely unreal.
Unreal, that fight on Saturday.
One of those that, I genuinely was, felt privileged to have been there in person. I think that's a fight that goes down like just a legendary comeback. That's a fight that I'll get to say forever. I was there when that happened. It was absolutely nuts. I had him it was the sequence. I had him moneyline plus 220, by finish plus 575, sub plus 800. He almost gets knocked out 4 or 5 different times in the second round. Comes back, is on top of him, ground and pounding where I think he's going to get the knockout. Sue ends up flipping him over. He ends up getting the triangle, puts him to sleep. All-time war, all-time gambling hit, just from the dead of 0 for 3 to 3 monster plus money hits. One of the better fights I've ever seen. I said it before the show. I think it's a lock to at least be a nominee for comeback of the year for the UFC. I think a good chance it wins. Almost going to be tough to top it, but the fights were unbelievable. Me, Robbie, Jack, Mac, and Lee were in the house. It was unbelievable fights. Great fights.
Yeah, shout out. So Schnell made my gambling weekend. He actually talked to him on Friday on the phone because we were trying to get him by the Barstool office while he was here, but he was out in Long Island, way out there. He was like, I don't know. He literally told me on the phone, he goes, I don't understand. I'm the number 8 in this division. Yeah, I lost my last fight. My mom died right before it, and I was kind of messed up a little bit on training. He goes, I'm over a 2-1 dog. I'm fighting the number 12 guy, and he's like, he's definitely a beast, a tough opponent, but he's like, this is ridiculous. And it was 220 by the time it went off, and then he was plus 450 submission, and I hit plus 220 and plus 450.
He was plus 800 submission.
What? Well, I got plus 450.
I think you had. Well, I think we had a laugh because I think you said you. I don't know if you were watching it. You said you hit.
Said decision. Yeah.
You said you hit the decision.
Yeah, well, dude, no,
it was just funny because it was the way the fight went. It was it was not a decision, but it was just the fight was just insane. Which I will say, there was a point in time for a second that he looked plus 220 for a minute there. He was eating some.
Dude, he was taking.
Massive,
I don't understand.
Massive
he
shots,
took some
massive elbows. That I thought a lot of refs there's a chance they could have stopped it standing up. And I'm really, really glad they did it, not just for the money, obviously, and winning the bets, but I think that was just good refereeing, where he clearly was, even though he was hurt badly, he still was in it. He still was, even a couple of times, I think he was getting hurt bad, and he would land one shot that would kind of keep him in the mix and keep the ref all right, he's in there. He's not just just a dead duck, waiting to die kind of thing. But the resilience and just the perseverance was just unbelievable. That's why MMA is the best. You just don't see shit like that in other sports. This guy literally, everyone in that arena, everyone watching was oh, this guy's toast, finished, done. 4 or 5 different times, comes back, ends up putting the guy to sleep, a bloody mess. Just the way things can turn in MMA is just so crazy. It's the wildest sport. It really is.
I feel like, obviously, I'm a noob with it, but underdogs win a lot more. Like the MMA versus boxing battle, the underdogs in MMA win so much more. It's like way more unpredictable.
The small gloves make a big difference because even like the exchange on the feet where he's getting hurt a bunch of times, then Schnell lands a big right hand square in those where you see where Sue like stumbles back in the cage and you're like, all right, like the tide's about to turn right now. He immediately takes him down. Within 2 seconds, he's in full mount, pounding his face, and where like just 20 seconds before that, you thought he was about to get finished. And the momentum in MMA can just change so fast with the small gloves. Like those like big hard punches make such an impact where it can just change. Like it just flips on its head. It's crazy.
Well, overall, how was the crowd? How was the experience?
Nuts. Obviously, Long Island's like a great, just a funny MMA crowd. Where like if the bell rings and they're not like immediately like swapping leather, they're like boo, like all these Long Island assholes are like what the fuck? Because you see like a crazy war like that, and then another fight comes out, and then maybe if they're not literally immediately punching each other in the face like 2 seconds in the fight, if there's any sort of like feel out period, or they're kind of just like finding their range. I mean, for the Lemos fight, everyone had the cell phone lights up, literally because there wasn't a punch landed for like 25 seconds.
How long in between are the fights?
So it depends on like how long it takes for like the fights to go, because there are 3 5-minute rounds besides the main event or a title fight's 5 5-minute rounds. But the pace was good because there was a good amount of fights. So like there was like, I think, what was there? There was 6 in the main card. When there's 6 in the main card, it's huge because it's like a 3-hour period. So you pretty much like do the walkout like they do, especially if a fight goes the distance. The next fight's coming pretty fast.
Yeah, and there's not a like big intricate, especially on the
only time it can get ugly is if like, say right before the fight, which it happens sometimes, like right before the day of the fight, day before, a fight gets canceled. So all of a sudden there's one less fight. All of a sudden, say you get 2 like first round finishes in a row. Then every now and then you get caught up where like, oh, like you're waiting. There's like been like 20 minutes, no one's come out yet. But like this time the pacing was really, really good, and there was a bunch of finishes, and the pacing was still strong. It's all about as long as you don't lose fights, and there's like enough like fights to fill out the time.
Well, some other stuff we got to get into, man, the Open Championship. What a wild Sunday. Cameron Smith, 64 final round.
Yeah. What was it? How many birdies on the back in a row?
Shot a 30. He shot a 30 on the back 9.
5 in a row, I thought. Yeah, it was crazy.
5 in a row.
Shot a 30 on the back 9 to win this thing. And I know a lot of people are acting like Rory kind of choked. I thought Cam Smith just won it.
No, he went and took it.
He didn't.
Yeah.
Rory didn't lose it.
No, I mean, when you go
feel like this guy, Smith went better.
A 64 is just unheard of. I think you said a 30 on the back 9.
I
mean, that's all credit to him. That's just just lights out golf. I mean,
what's interesting to me is we saw this Justin Thomas came from like 6 back and won the PGA Championship. It's like
5
back. The people that are really good players that like aren't expected to win on Sunday come out and just play with no pressure and just fire low. You know, they're like mentally kind of free rolling. And I wonder if I don't know. I wonder if there's just something to that.
I think so. I mean, just like you said, there's no pressure on you. Like you don't have to, like when no one's expecting you to win, it makes it a little easier to go out there and say fuck it, like let me go for it.
Right.
Then if you're like you have a 2-stroke lead and everyone's like don't fuck it up, like you can't go up, you can only go down. When you're down, you're like fuck it. Like
I've always said too, like what's the difference of finishing 2nd or 5th or 6th?
Well, for them, it's
a lot.
It's a lot. But like, if you are going for broke to win, obviously I get the monetary thing, but like this might be his only shot at a major. You know what I mean? Like,
well now it might be because he just signed with the Live Tour immediately after.
He's playing a little bit more
hysterical. Yeah.
Wow, did he really? He won his major.
$90 million.
Wow, I saw he said he was going to find out how many beers he could drink out of the claret jug.
Literally, pretty much immediately after he won it, $90 million from Live. He's gone.
I saw that.
Henrik Stenson's gone too.
I knew that. And Henrik Stenson was a Ryder Cup captain.
He was the captain of the Ryder Cup. People, the golf hodders were in a little tizzy about that.
I don't know if that's sustainable. This Live thing, like
I just know they have like endless pockets.
I know, yeah.
They just have like insane oil money.
It's interesting.
No, it's fascinating.
Is it gonna change? So like, obviously, I love Morikawa, but like, and you know, he hasn't won. He has won this year, but he got close. But let's say he makes a run and he gets to, I don't know, 8 majors, 9 majors in the next 6 or 7 years. Let's say, right? Like, does that diminish what it did because it's like, hey, well, some of these major names like aren't.
Well, no, the live guys are still playing the majors though right now. And so as long as
clarified that,
well, they have been.
They
have been so far.
Some of them they can't.
oh, I
they don't
know.
really
I'm
have a
saying
choice.
moving forward, like if Brooks is gone,
I mean, most of them, like the PGA doesn't. Besides the actual PGA Championship, like they don't have a say.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
U.S.
They, like,
Opens,
they don't get to
USGA,
choose.
Masters is its own thing.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, and
They
so
don't, that's why, like,
So then these guys got the best of both worlds.
Like Dustin,
Exactly.
like Dustin Johnson was playing this week.
Yeah, why not?
He came in like 5th or 6th, I think, something like that.
no, it's just fascinating to see what's going to happen. I mean, it's just crazy because the PGA is the only thing we've known for our entire lives.
See, I don't know. I guess I like the anti-establishment. My thing with the PGA is I just think I just don't like when these huge like money-making machines try to pretend like they don't have money. Like I remember I was in there with Brandon one time. I talked about like, you know, when they go to all these big events, like they just have volunteers. Like it's ridiculous. They have Rolex sponsorships. They have like 500 local volunteers, and they're acting like they're crying broke. Like you have all the like you don't even if a person comes to your tournament, you don't even get paid unless you make the cut.
Right.
Like you don't even pay half the field.
That's crazy.
So I just don't listen. Like I totally understand the backlash on the other end to live and like what's behind it, all that. But the PGA crying poor and acting like there's some like wholesome group is just hysterical.
It almost kind of reminds me in a weird way of like how college football used to be. I mean, I know the players get paid, but it's like the bureaucracy is making so much money and not sharing it like they should. And I know this sounds stupid, but like, you know, the Masters is like 2.7 or 2.8 million to first. I know that's an insanely like a lot of money, but it should be way more. It's winning the damn Super Bowl of golf.
There should be.
How is that not 5 million?
There should be some.
You know, I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I agree.
To Ev's point too, though, these millionaires, that's how rich guys stay rich. Do you know what the NFL does with their ticket sales? The money's due in March, and they put it in a CD until August.
Okay.
Like they hold, and same with playoff deposits. They make money on your money of their season ticket holders. That's a fact. Like that's a fact.
Yeah.
Like so that's just what they do. Like if they don't have to spend the nickel, they're not gonna.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes in sports. Same with MLB. Like I'm sure there's things they nickel and dime you left and right. Like just how it goes.
Makes sense. Well, Stephen Shea joining us. We're going to talk some NFL and NFC. We kind of popped in a little bit on Friday. How was your weekend?
That was all right. When we have kids.
Went to a barbecue Saturday, though, right?
I did. Yeah, that was highlight of the weekend.
There you go. Well, I had a huge one doing both nights of Dead at Citi Field. Was a very, very, very large time. We had a good crew, Liam and Bob and Jake Bass. We had a nice crew on Saturday night. Billy was on the floor. Huge time, both Friday and Saturday.
How'd Billy mix with the Dead? I feel like
Billy, so he wasn't with us. He was on the – dude, they were like floor like 15 rows in. He got his face melted. He couldn't believe it. I mean, he was like – I think because when you're that close, you know, it's coming in hot. I don't know. He loved it. So.
Billy's just like such a narc. I just couldn't imagine him at a Grateful Dead concert.
Yeah, supposedly he had a big, you know.
It's like Mr. Narc.
Yeah,
doing a couple ice cold fatties.
Yeah.
I did none of that. But
the weather was really bad.
Yeah, weather was perfect Friday. I was on the floor Friday night, and it wasn't as crowded Friday because it was like if you were going to go to one, you go to Saturday, the tour ender. So Friday, like I was on like the right side of the floor, and we had a bunch of room, which was great to dance. And then I was up top in the 300 level with Liam and Bob and them Saturday. But no, weather was great, both shows. I love Citi Field's great.
It is. It's a while to get used to. It's got an identity now. Yankee Stadium is still very much brick and mortar.
It's convenient, too. You can just
Citi
get
Field's
Subway or Long Island Railroad,
like
just
you
drops
can
you
walk-
off right
You
there.
can walk the whole thing, too, for a baseball game, obviously. Concerts have been good. Yeah, it's legit.
The lot scene was cool. Yeah, it was an awesome weekend out there and kind of the beginning of my rock and roll run. All right, let's get into some NFC stuff. I'll touch on later. The Major League Baseball draft first 2 rounds happened last night. I'll run through some notables a little bit later. There was some stuff that was interesting. I do actually, Rico, and I asked this to the Mets. Did you see the Kumar Rocker thing?
I got a text from my brother. So, yeah, he got redrafted.
He got drafted 3rd overall.
3rd overall. And what did we get him at?
Yeah.
10. And he went to the Rangers who drafted his team.
Leiter. Him and Jack
They
Leiter.
literally just have both now, which is crazy.
So I'm wondering, if we did screw that up.
Well, he had shoulder surgery in September, and then he pitched in the independent league and had 5 starts this year to like show he could still throw. Smart move by him. He'd already done everything at Vandy.
He made more money.
Yeah, but they won a championship at Vandy. He'd pitched the College World Series. Like, he'd done everything he could.
You never know. I mean, listen, if he pitches against us, and but I don't know. It is very Mets to like kind of screw that up, but we'll see. It's
I'm
you wish him the best, but it's one of those. It really you don't know. You know what I mean? You never really know. So we'll see.
Unless I missed it, I was shocked to walk in and not see Frank ranting about it.
Yeah, I think he's.
Isn't he not allowed to do any negative tweets for the month of July?
But that's
can
one of
still
those
talk,
you
though.
can't like. You really like. What are we upset? The guy's not necessarily a surefire lock.
No one is,
You know what I mean? So get upset when he does burn you. For now, it is what it is. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah. Well,
And the way the Mets are going right now, like they're in a position where it's win now, and yeah, he might be an untouchable prospect, but like the next couple of years, we probably might trade him anyway.
For
so
sure.
it's like, what are we really getting worked up about? They talked about. I don't think it's going to happen. But Gary, Keith, and Ron on Saturday night or Friday night were floating like if anybody could make a run at him, the Mets would make a run at Trout. When you look at the money,
No, did you see the reel? That's like legit now.
no.
The Yankees and Mets are like Soto could be a thing.
To who?
Us,
Either
Mets
one,
or
right?
Yankees.
Yeah, I had seen that. But I mean, if you could make a run at Trout, I would love to make a run at Trout. Obviously, that's pie in the sky, but
I just think for the money, like it's. I don't think like why would they trade him? Like I understand the logic of like the teams like
can't win.
they
with
can't
them.
win with
Yeah.
them, but
I'm just saying. I would never.
or,
would've-
you already paid him.
Never would have said it
$500
if it wasn't brought up on a broadcast. That's all.
The Soto thing makes sense now that he turned down the contract.
Well, you've seen the other guy.
But they could offer. But they're saying they're going to offer another one, which will be the final offer.
Okay.
And if he doesn't take that, then I think that means
I have a
very
hard time
serious about
thinking
not
that
wanting to play
the
in
Nationals will trade him in division. I think he's more likely to go to you.
fair. But I think if the price, that's fair.
Have you seen the other guy on the Mets radar? Because now Mancini, the Orioles are like probably not selling.
They have no
It was,
yeah.
it was Josh Bell, obviously Soto. Crone is on the mix too.
Really?
Oh yeah, I would love to get fucking CJ Crone.
What year is he in Colorado?
I think it's probably like his fourth or fifth.
Okay, so he's kind of getting near arbitration.
If I had a look, yeah, I don't think he
Okay.
got a major like deal. I'll look him up.
All right, well, we're joined by Stephen Che. We're going to run through some. We talked to AFC on Friday. Honestly, we're all about feedback here at Pick Central. We got a lot of good feedback. I think everybody's starving for some football here in mid-July, and with the All-Star break going on, I think it's a good time to get into it. I got on the Barstool Sports book.
Second. It's only Crone's second year with them.
One second. Okay,
So he's been with a few teams.
He's been with a
before,
few,
I'm
so he's
pretty
finally catching a drift.
sure. I think he was on like the Diamondbacks at one point.
Yeah.
okay. I knew it was like his fourth or fifth year in the league as
I
well.
want to say he was on the Angels. I think too.
He was on the Angels when he was 24. It took him a little while to figure it out. Yeah. So this might be the only time he gets. Yeah, he starts to get a major money. But again, this is the icing on the cake for us. So I would love to have him. We need another bat too. So it is what it is.
All right.
Sorry, Steve.
No, you're good. We're going to get through. So, Jay and I, FFF Pod, we're rolling this year.
Yep.
Yeah, we're excited about it. Kind of going to take it. We did some of this last year, but we're going to focus even more on the props this year. We're really going to hammer, previewing games, over/under yardage totals, all that kind of stuff, because we got a really good response to that. And I'm excited. The season-long props are actually out already on the Barstool Sports book too. So shout out to that.
It just came out. I think it was this week, like maybe yesterday or even Saturday.
We're gonna tape. We're getting into the nitty gritty. Gonna start taping this week. So NFC, I've got the odds to win the NFC Championship up. The NFC's so deep. Trey, your Bucks plus 333 to win the conference. Packers 9-2. Rams 5-1. Niners 7-1. Cowboys 8-1. Are the five that are under at 10-1. Then you got the Eagles 13, Cardinals 16, Vikings 17, and Saints at 20. And then it falls off.
Humor me with the Giants.
I will humor you with the Giants. I'm having to keep looking.
What did he say?
40.
Say 35. All right.
40-1. All right, I want to get into the Bucks thing since they're the favorite at the start. First of all, how's Chris Godwin's health coming back? Because I think that's I felt like watching the playoffs, that really, really hurt them. The AB, because like when they had AB, Godwin, Evans, and Gronk out there, you can't match up with all of them. The only way you could stop them was to just get a ton of pass rush.
Yeah.
Like you had to beat them, and the Bucks had a good line. But it just seemed like when Godwin went down and then AB went out, you could kind of focus a little more on guys. So I'm curious what's going on there with Godwin.
Right. So after Chauncey Gardner-Johnson kneecapped Chris Godwin in a dirty hit, he missed the rest
Oh,
of the
you
year.
remember that shutout? Okay.
Right. Right after you intentionally injured one of our players. That was cool.
I
But
didn't intentionally injure anyone, but anyway.
take some accountability for your squad. So Chris Godwin, all reports are He tore it, I believe it was end of November. He's ahead of schedule, so we're hoping to have him back to start the season. If he misses like a game or two, I don't think he's going to start the season on the PUP list. I would expect him back within the first month of the season.
Okay, well, you kind of ease in. I mean, we've talked about the NFC South.
It's a bad division.
Carolina, Atlanta. Like the Saints thing, I know you're a little more down on them. I think they're going to be pretty good. I don't know if they're going to be like 11 or 12 win good, like could win the division. I think they're going to be in the wild card race, though.
Yeah, certainly.
But with Carolina and Atlanta being so bad, you can't rush Godwin back. Like, why would you at all?
Yep.
It doesn't make sense.
I think the whole NFC's bad. Like, if you look at the Rams, they won the Super Bowl last year. One of the most impactful players, Von Miller, he goes to an AFC team in Buffalo. Andrew Whitworth, their stalwart at left tackle, retires. Cam Akers is back, but is he going to be good following a torn Achilles? Like, he was not good in the playoff run when he came back.
No.
Odell
Beckham. A lot too.
Odell Beckham, who was...
Yeah, but the Allen Robinson replacing Beckham. Robinson could be really good.
Could be, but
he's getting a second lease on life. That Chicago was a bad situation.
He was terrible last year. So, I like Green Bay, Devontae Adams moves to the AFC. Like, are they going to continue to be as good? I mean... who's he throw? Who's
that division sucks too.
Alan Lazard is their number. They have the worst receiving core.
They got the North Dakota State kid.
Right, Christian. Yeah,
I don't love him. We'll see.
Christian Watkins.
No, Watson.
Christian Watson.
I don't love him, but I guess we'll see. I just don't like guys that have bad hands.
What about?
That's just a big like. I mean, I know it's such like an easy like. Obviously it's something you can improve on, but I just don't like.
Right.
I just don't love a guy that's
yeah.
like, especially someone like in a spot like they're in where you kind of need him to come in and play right now.
Yeah.
Where he's raw and just like he needs to work on his hands. Like that's just not like a recipe for come in and have immediate success.
It's probably gonna be laughed at because of their quarterback. What about the Vikings? Since you said that division sucks. You look at Cook, their receivers are pretty reliable.
Oh, definitely. No, I mean, you look at Justin Jefferson. If you can keep Dalvin Cook healthy,
I love Thielen, obviously.
The thing with the Vikings, Zimmer gone. The Zimmer stuff was interesting because I always thought he was a good coach, but he fell off the last few years. He made a lot of he got Case Keenum to the NFC Championship when they lost to the Eagles that year. I thought that was a spectacular coaching job, but it seemed like the star really fell off him a little bit, and now they're going with more of an offensive coach. That division, I mean, the Lions are rebuilding forever. The Bears are obviously rebuilding.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if anybody's going to challenge them, it's the Vikings. Do you think they have?
Yeah,
275 is what the division price is at.
I think that whole division is up for grabs. It wouldn't even shock me if the Lions won that division.
Well, really? I don't know about one.
They finished 3-3 to end the year. So
and 7 against the spread.
Let me see what the odds are on that real quick, because I would shot that would.
Green Bay's got 11 as their win total, and Minnesota's got 9. So if Minnesota can swing those, I think I talked myself into the Vikings.
They're good at home, so they got a good home field.
Oh, Gus, it's so tough.
I mean, do you think Green Bay, every year we talk about how they're going to regress, and then they just win a ton of games.
Yeah, but they really have no receivers this year. Like at last year, it's like, all right, well, Devontae, like they had their same cast.
Lions 9-1, Shay.
Rodgers doesn't hide it well when he gets frustrated either.
Yeah.
He's making $3 million a game to start now, so
that helps.
I mean, I think he's got.
He's still a competitor. I don't think he's just going to be like, hey, yeah, we had no passing touchdowns today. I didn't find anybody to throw to, and like, oh, well, I take my $3 million. I think he's still going to try to win.
Right. I think their defense is very good. Like, Zadarius Smith is gone, but he was hurt most last year. Rashawn Gary's a really good player.
Alexander's a great corner.
Devondre Campbell, Jair Alexander's back healthy. So they should be a good defense, but I don't anticipate that entire division putting up a lot of points, Minnesota included.
You don't think Minnesota's going to score a bunch?
Relative to the rest of the league, I mean, I think they're going to be a good offense, but like when you look at that division as a whole,
they score a lot at home in those dome games. Those games get those totals are always in the 50s when they play at home.
Kirk Cousins had a good year last year, but and Dalvin Cook, if he's healthy for the whole year, certainly could be a next level offense. I don't think they're going to be one of the top 5 offenses.
Well, you look at the NFC. So the NFC South and North both are not deep at all.
Correct.
The West still is. Obviously, Seattle full rebuild now.
Mm-hmm.
Wilson's gone. They're 20-1. That's the most interesting division right now. Rams plus 125, Niners plus 160, Arizona plus 375. It seems like 5 years ago that Arizona started 9-0 last year, doesn't it? Because man, the shine flew off that thing. We always talk about how it's like peaking at the right time is so important in NFL, and the Rams certainly did that last year. But the Cardinals, they were undefeated. They were unbelievable on the road last year. But man, they really fell off down the stretch. I mean, it was bad. Now the Kyler contract thing. You mentioned DeAndre Hopkins out the first 6 weeks. What do y'all expect out of them this year?
I'm not really buying the Cardinals. That whole division is always like a scramble every year, but I think there's 2 clear top teams. I think it's the Rams for the defending champs, and I like the Niners. But Trey Lance is a big unknown. With Kyler losing DeAndre Hopkins for the first 6 games, and then Christian Kirk, his top 2 receivers, gone, essentially at least for the first 6 weeks, and Christian Kirk beyond that, obviously, with the Jags now. Chandler Jones also off the edge, gone. He's with the Raiders now. So I do not like that team this year, really,
I
at
think
all.
there's a little bit of an element, too, of the league figuring out Kyler Murray. Like I saw, and we talked about it with Lamar, but didn't he took a little regret? I don't know. It's hard to describe it. Like once you see him enough, it won't look like he's making video game play after video game play. They can put in a different package to contain him. I think he's unbelievable. So I'm literally asking, like,
He's my favorite player
I
to
could see it
watch
going
in the
both
league,
ways.
yeah.
My thing on Kyler, I think he's phenomenal. His body type and frame is small.
kind
And
of a
I remember
thick boy,
last
though.
year, or 2 years ago, I feel like he's all, he gets a little nicked up as the season goes on. I remember 2 years ago, he really fell off because his shoulder was hurting toward the end of the year, and they couldn't score. Last year, he slowed down a little bit too. Like I feel like that's my concern with him a lot, is just how small he is. But the thing is, who knows if Hollywood Brown could stay healthy? But God, those first few weeks before his hammy starts acting up, he could go off with Kyler Murray. That could. I don't know if he could sustain it for 16 games, but the fact they already – what's up?
17,
whatever. Yeah, my bad. But that they already have such a chemistry. I mean, look how explosive he was at times in Baltimore up in that cold weather. I don't know. That's going to be a big factor because they need him so bad with Hopkins and Kirk. Both.
Now we got James Conner with no Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds in Miami now, so James Conner a chance to be an interesting prop guy to take a look at.
You mentioned Trey Lance. I want to talk about him because the upside, if Kyle Shanahan thinks highly enough to get him 3rd overall, I mean, he's got the cannon. We saw him play last year, but he was playing with a hurt shoulder last year. I mean, he could run, but he couldn't really throw. I mean, all the offseason camp buzz is huge on him. What are you thinking about him going into this year?
I love Trey Lance. I think he's going to be really, really good. You look at the Shanahan offense. I mean, this is an offense that got Robert Griffin III Rookie of the Year. Very similar skill set as far as big arm, really, really fast and mobile, can throw on the run. I don't think they're going to ask him to do too much. Like, I don't think you're going to see Trey Lance with like 35, 40 attempts a game. I think he's going to be a 20, 25 attempt guy. They're going to have pretty designed throws for him to make, and I think he's going to be able to do it. So I like Trey Lance a lot.
I mean, I'd argue he's probably the biggest X factor in like the whole league next year.
I would agree, yeah.
And you consider that they're a team that legitimately is like Super Bowl contender-esque around him.
Yep.
And it's just whether like if he's good, like they can meet that potential, and if he's not, they're going to struggle. Probably. I mean, their defense is good. They can run the ball well. So I don't see any scenario where they're just bad. Mm-hmm. But I think that's the difference of him being good is the difference of them being like a 10-win team, like 8-9-win team. I think that's probably like their absolute floor if he was awful. Mm-hmm. And then them being a legit Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
My thing with him is he's got such a big arm. If he can throw good deep balls with that Shanahan running game, because people are going to have to put safeties up. I mean, you're not going to be able to protect the deep ball and that running game. Yep. And so if he can hit good deep balls, because they've got receivers that can stretch the field.
Yeah.
With Ayuk and Debo, they got some speed. If they can do that, he doesn't even, like you said it best. It's not like he has to throw 35 passes, but if he can go vertical on those deep balls, man, people are going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I totally agree. It'll be interesting to see because I do think the Rams take a little bit of a step back just because when you're the top team, you get everyone's best shot every week. So I'm a little bit lower on the Rams, but I still think they're going to be
I think the Whitworth thing could hurt them. You mentioned it, just he was such a leader and great left tackle. And Stafford, has been banged up a lot of his career playing in Detroit. That would be the thing that would worry me about the Rams is how can they replace him?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
He was banged up last year.
Yeah.
He had the foot for like most of the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. So in the NFC, do y'all have any like long shot? We kind of discussed. Is there any teams that the Vikings kind of sound like maybe a sleeper? Are there any other just sleepers?
I just looked at the schedule. They got a very easy. I know the Packers play a very similar one, obviously, because it's in the division. So
they play a first place one though.
Yeah, you're right. So the Packers probably. Yeah, but I'm saying the AFC crossover. Like they're playing the same
South. Or something?
Yeah, they're getting the East.
Okay.
So you get the Pats, Dolphins,
I mean, the most competitive.
and Jets are all winnable. So what?
No.
Oh no.
Gas up the NFC.
Oh yeah, no. AFC East. I don't know. I think the Vikings are worth a stab. Again, it's Cousins. So like I really can't. It's cute and they might be 12-4 and like dazzle everybody, but do I really want them on the road against Brady or or Brady in a divisional game? Like you can only get cute for so long. Like I don't think they have the goods to actually do it. But yeah, I'm talking myself into the Vikings with that said.
All right, we got y'all. We got the Giants fans here. I want to talk about this NFC East a good bit here. All right, Cowboys plus 125, Eagles plus 180, Commanders plus 500, Giants plus 750. All right, I am curious, the Giants thing going in. I'm actually bullish. I like the coaching hire. I really do. And, I don't know. I was impressed with what he did what Dabble did at Bama and what he did with Josh Allen. Obviously, Daniel Jones can't run like Allen. But I think this is going to be.
But he's not a hump back there. You've seen
he
him
can move
a little bit.
He can't run the same physically for sure, but he can move though.
He can definitely move.
I love the coaching hire. I love what Shane's done. I mean, I think they've won the offseason, but I think the last, maybe not like last year, but a couple years before, we've had this Giants fans have this weird like optimism that has clearly not came through whatsoever. So this year, I'm kind of coming into it more like cautiously optimistic, just because my mindset is more just can't be worse than it was. It's like Gettleman was so bad and Joe Judge was so bad that I'm just hoping like we're looking to pick up pieces right now. So obviously I'm not thinking Super Bowl or nothing, but I'm hoping that this is the year that we can finally see that growth and that improvement. Daniel Jones is obviously partly not even partly, probably definitely the biggest X factor because we didn't give him the extension, so he's pretty much lame duck. So it's either like this year he's good and we give him a new contract, or he's bad and we just let him walk. I'm fearful that he's going to land somewhere in the middle of that. But I think the team around, at least like the play calling, and I think the way like the team is structured should be better. I think the offensive line is going to be better,
that was my point.
Which is massive. Like that, I think they did good. They made good like small moves that I think are going to work out at least for this season. Like I think they just made like little like Feliciano and like the guy from Indianapolis like Wazinski or however you say his name. Like I think they made little moves like that. They're going to make a big impact on the team. I think the defense should be decent. The defense was the one thing last year I appreciated, that they played their asses off, but they were just put in horrible situations constantly in the
Short
offense.
Fields
the offense just could not score.
You're just hoping
they were just always in the field, but they played their asses off, which I appreciated. So there's a few defensive pieces that I still like. But I don't know. Like I'm almost surprised that we're at 7.5 wins. I almost thought it would be lower.
7.5 wins. They are plus 750 to win the division.
That gives me like the 7.5 wins.
It's 7.5 wins.
Gives me a little optimism. Just that like they're thinking we're going to be a little better than I anticipated. So I guess we'll see how it turns out. But I feel good. Like I feel better than I felt the last couple of years, and I think it's more in the right place. Whereas last year I think it was more like wishful thinking, and this year it's like actually my head is like this team could be better.
Yeah, it's not a running backs league. Obviously, you talked about the offensive line. It did feel like the defense was in short field positions a ton, and they did play. Obviously, like the coaching change. Jones is kind of on a shit or get off the pot thing, which we've said for a while, but you like to see what he goes.
Finally, this is like the
It'd
last.
Be interesting. Can we finally get a full year out of Saquon? I know it's not a running backs league, but like it would be nice to just at least see what's there.
And him run behind a decent offensive line would be nice. We've never seen that either.
It's tough. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I really don't. It's one of those where it's just kind of we're a middle of the road team. Like I
do think we have
at best. So like
I do think we have kind of the makeup like to surprise some people. And when I say surprise, I'm saying win, and maybe we go out there and win like 9 games.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But no real
like high ceiling type. But I don't know, because I just think if the coaching's better, like the players are not great, but also not terrible. Like if the receiving core can stay a little healthy, the O-line's better, we can maybe make some moves on offense that we just haven't been able to. Like we still like Galladay was hurt all last year, but I mean, he's a good receiver. If Tony can stay on the field, and we have some of these guys that can actually stay on the field. Like Tony, when he played, was phenomenal.
No, he made.
Yes.
I know,
never played.
You love him.
When he was on the field, he was fantastic. So we'll see if he just needs to. But it worries me because he dealt with health issues at Florida. Pretty much the 1 year he stayed healthy was the year that got him in the first round.
I think we're a pesky at best team, which is like a dangerous category for your future. You know what I mean?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, like you go 8 or 9 wins and Jones look pretty good.
Sounds like a really good.
Well, that's what I said. I feel like he's going to land somewhere in this middle ground where next year there's a ton of really good quarterbacks coming out, and we're going to be in that weird spot where like he didn't play horrible, but he didn't.
You can always franchise him though, so it's not like.
Like, is it actually worse if Daniel Jones has like an outlandish season this year and we win the division because it's an out. Like, do you think it's an outlier?
No,
Like, they'll bank on him being like, hey, he's showing some potential, and you get caught in that, like, this is the norm, and in reality, it was his one outlandish, really, really good season. You know what I mean?
he shows flashes. That's the thing where I'm like, I mean, if he just played great this year, I'm like, give him the money. I mean,
Yeah.
My thing with the Giants, y'all just the 0-4 and 0-5 starts of. I mean,
It's every year.
It's every year. I mean, you got to like
Stop
at least
scheduling the fucking Cowboys week 1.
just at least be 2-2, just to not be
Every fucking week. Every year. We're Sunday night. We
Is
get
that-
the
is that
Cowboys.
what it is?
They're like your biggest rivals.
We can move them to week 2. I mean, week 1 every
week
night.
week one this year again.
It's not.
we just don't match up with them well either.
Looking at the rest of this division.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me send the Giants real quick.
Go ahead.
An interesting prop. Let me throw out Saquon Barkley's lines to you guys. Let me know what the Giants fans think.
I went under 1,000 on Galladay last year and crushed.
Over under 850.5 rushing yards for Saquon.
It's tough.
Minus 112 both
He's
sides.
just always hurt. Like, it's so hard to, like, if he's healthy, it should be no issue.
Yeah, I mean, last
But
year he
it's-
played
he's-
13 games, 593 rushing yards.
Last year the team was just the offense was just so bad.
Right.
Like, especially once Jones
Abel's
was out.
gonna fix a lot.
Like
of
when
stuff.
it legitimately when Glennon came in at quarterback, I didn't think it could be worse. And then I saw Jake Fromm and I was like, oh, it can get
It got a lot
I was like
worse.
this like Jake Fromm, and I'm sure he's a really nice guy. I liked him on QB1. He has no business being on an NFL roster bad.
Yeah.
Like, I think he would struggle in like the XFL.
Georgia succeeded under him.
He was the worst quarterback I'd ever seen
he had him
in the
over
NFL.
Justin
It was
Fields.
very bad.
I think Johnny Hecker would have been better. Like, would have been better just like taking all the snaps. We were running quarterback sneaks on 2nd and 10
Right.
from our own. Like, it was more.
I remember that.
It was literally our coach is like, it's more likely he'll throw a pick 6 than us picking up this first down. Like, that was a low as a fan I've had as a Giants fan. I never want to go back there again, ever.
I like Saquon over 850.5 rushing yards. I think especially with Daboll and they drafted Evan Neal, their offensive line, as you alluded
And
to,
Andrew
has
Thomas
gotten a lot better.
Should keep getting better.
His over/under rushing touchdown total
11.
7.5.
I knew it was gonna be 11. That's high. That I could see. I mean,
So his first year, and this is rushing touchdowns only, so receiving doesn't count. His first year, rookie year, 11. His second year, he played 13 games, 6. Last year, 2. So the odds makers definitely have him put in the paint a lot more.
well, last year there just was like getting a push behind that offensive line was a joke. This year I do think it's gonna be much different. I mean, I don't
I think
hate
they're
it.
going to try to get him going early, too.
No, I think so
you know,
too.
like-
As long as he's like healthy, ready to go at the beginning of camp, which I think he should be. I mean, it's just the team should be a lot better. I mean, he just has gotten hurt every season, so that's just the only part that scares me. Even though he has played like a decent amount of games, he's missed time. So I'm optimistic. Like, I hope so. If everything around him should be better, that should help him succeed.
Let me give Giants fans a little reason for optimism. And again, I've said this guy's name a few times, but Brian Daboll, a few years ago, I remember early in the year, it was like, is Josh Allen really going to be a guy? Like, are we going to pick up his 5th year? Are we going to sign him? Is he like the guy in Buffalo? His problems were, he's really mobile, huge arm, doesn't make the best decisions, is late a lot. These are all the same problems that Daniel Jones has, and he's a similar type guy. I'm not saying he's the athlete that Josh Allen is, because he's not, and like nobody really is at the quarterback position at that size. But you have to just look blindly at the NFL starting quarterbacks. The closest guy, I don't want to say he's like the next closest, but he's like right in that next tier of guys with the size, athleticism, profile is Daniel Jones. So I think that Daboll is the perfect hire for him. I wouldn't have my socks knocked off if Daniel Jones just blows it out of the water this year. I'm not saying he's going to do that, but like based on recent history, we have seen Brian Daboll do this with a very similar guy. So at basically the same point in his career. So I don't think it would be crazy for Daniel Jones to make that leap. Do I think he's going to do that? I don't think he's going to be an elite level quarterback, but I think he'd be a good quarterback. I like all of his tools, and I've liked him since he came out.
It's scary if he can't get it going with Daboll, though.
But then that's good. Then you
Then we just know, and we just
and you can
yeah.
move
This
on.
year there's a bunch of good
At least know.
quarterbacks.
I like that. You at least know. But
the thing with him is the fumbling. I mean, the fumbling is he's got to get it out quicker. Maybe with the better offensive line, they can do more play action and like less deep drops. But I mean, if he can, the fumbling's been just a Titanic problem. I don't know how
He
else
just has
to
to
get it.
speed up his head, and that's something that like you can't necessarily you can't account for like arm strength or 40 time or that type of stuff. If he can speed up his decision making, which has been tough because he has a new offensive coordinator. It seems like every year a new playbook. That's very difficult to pick up. If he can master this system, which I do think that they're going to pare down for him, then I think he's going to be set up for success. So I like Daniel Jones this year.
I'm curious. I want to get to the Eagles a little bit here because I have questions. They went out and got A.J. Brown. They gave him the bag. I think A.J. Brown, obviously, unbelievable player. But can they get the most out of A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith with Jalen Hurts throwing? I don't know.
So A.J. Brown.
I feel like his under has got to be – with A.J.'s hamstring problems, he never practices, literally ever.
Yep.
So is he going to get on the same pages? Because him and Tannehill had a chemistry. They've been together for years. What's A.J. Brown's over-under?
Well, him and Jalen Hurts have been throwing like even before the trade.
Okay.
Will Compton confirmed this on the NFL Draft Show. Like he's like a Ferrari. You take him out like on Sundays. Like you don't practice him during the week. His over/under receiving total 1,500 yards.
That's kind of low.
Wow.
Yeah,
low.
that's definitely playing in with Jalen Hurts. But yeah, again, Ryan Tannehill, similar type guy. I would say Tannehill's a little bit more accurate.
Yeah, I think Tannehill's a better passer than Hurts.
Receiving touchdowns over/under 6.5.
Wow.
And A.J. Brown's been a pretty big touchdown player.
Oh, he's definitely that.
That's really low.
It's just wild to me. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith is such an elite receiving core. I just really wonder.
A.J. Brown touchdowns year over year, 8, 11, and then 5 last year.
He was out a lot of games last year, too.
Missed times the past 2 games,
6.5.
14 games and
Really
13
low.
games.
I would expect it to be like 8 or 9.
Do y'all think it's fair? I know the Eagles made the playoffs last year, and then that was really, really rough what happened to them in that first half in Tampa. What do you they're clearly getting hyped as the number 2 team in this division. Do you think they stay there, or do you think they step back? Sirianni, look, he actually did impress me last year a little bit.
Yeah. Can I tell you something?
Oh, something.
I kind of like the Commanders.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Talk me into Carson Wentz.
He has been good before. That's kind of what everyone says. But as far as like when you look at who was playing quarterback for the Commanders, they had Taylor Heineke, Ryan Fitzpatrick he got hurt really in week 1. They weren't trotting out guys that could win. Carson Wentz, say whatever you want about him, he has won in this league in the regular season. I also really like Jahan Dotson. He was their first-round pick. He was my favorite receiver in the draft. I think with him and Terry McLaurin, they have legitimate weapons. Antonio Gibson, I know people are kind of down on him for fantasy this year.
He had a foot injury last year, though.
Yeah, but he played receiver in college for a bit, so he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run it. They got J.D. McKissick back, who's just a catch machine. So I think and also their defense is really good.
Seven. Front seven's great.
Yeah, they have 4
1 million first-round picks on their front
on their front 4. So I think Washington could be a factor.
I'm higher on Wentz than most people too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember the day of the trade, I was sitting there like trying to talk PFT like off the ledge.
I don't think they're like a Super Bowl team.
No,
but I think Ron Rivera is a good coach.
And my thing was more kind of what you said. I was like, look at your quarterback. Like, you just got better, in my opinion.
Right, yeah.
I was like, listen, I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in the league, Wentz, and I like Heineke. I was actually kind of higher on Heineke probably than I should have been, but he's better than Heineke for sure.
Yes.
Heineke's still there as a backup?
Yes.
Okay, because Wentz always.
There's actually a great
hurt.
clip of him talking about it on, I forget what it was on, but great clip of him just being like, listen, like, they pay me $2 million, but they pay him 30. Like, what do you think's going to happen?
Like, everyone shits on Wentz last year because you have that, like, was it a pick six or it was an interception? It was like the left-handed throw out of the end
he
zone,
makes
like,
that's what it is
awful.
with him. He makes too many like viral bad plays.
Right, yes.
That's how I described it last year when I was like the day of the trade, I like tweeted like kind of in his defense and ended up going kind of to war on Twitter on his behalf. And I was like, it's because he makes these viral bad plays. But if you watch him like week to week, he's solid, but he definitely makes like some bad turnovers. And like the one, what was it, the Tennessee from his own end zone?
Yes,
That was
yes.
the one, right?
He had a hilarious play that I taped that he sprained both ankles on the play.
Like he just does Wentz shit like that sometimes. But
I mean,
he'll also throw like almost 30 touchdowns.
27 touchdowns, 7
That's
picks.
what I'm saying. He doesn't throw that many picks. He just makes like when he throws
When
picks,
they are
they're
bad,
bad
ugly,
picks.
yes.
Really bad.
There's 2 counterpoints on Wentz. First of all, Indy really didn't have that many. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, great running back. Pittman was a pretty good receiver. They didn't have any other weapons. On the other hand, though, he was getting bagged for his leadership at Indy a lot. Like, there was a lot of stuff that the locker room
Holy
didn't
roller.
Yeah, the locker room didn't like him at all. that kind of felt like what went wrong there. And so I don't know how that'll play. Washington's known for about as much dysfunction as any NFL team going up to their ownership. And so I'm wondering how that's going to go. I do agree with Che, though. Ron Rivera will get the most out of him. He always does.
Yeah, so I think Washington is a legitimate wild card threat.
Okay. What about this Cowboys thing? Last year they had a great year because the defense got so much better. CeeDee Lamb's like 13-1 to lead the NFL in receiving yards. The Amari Cooper gone. Che, you
I just lit up.
Lamb was They were waiting. He was a guy waiting to explode.
Yep. That's one of my plays this year, CeeDee Lamb to lead the NFL in receiving yards.
Okay, you like that?
Yep.
He's right now in the Barstool
see
Sports
that.
book 13-1, so not the best odds.
Yeah. Dak Prescott over under 4,400.5 yards, 31.5 passing touchdowns. I like Dak a lot too.
Damn, those are hot numbers.
31 to me almost seems low for him with that passing offense.
I feel like
They throw the ball a
fucking
ton.
league, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I
There'll
feel
be
like-
some games they throw the ball like 50, 60 times. I mean,
yes.
You got to figure there's going to be a couple of games he goes off for 4.
I think I like the over 31.5.
31
I think,
and a half,
I think he
yeah.
could easily go for like mid-high 30s.
I also took a bet on Micah Parsons Defensive Player of the Year, which is a play I love. It's at plus 900 right now.
Okay, what are the other defensive player of the year top guys?
Donald.
Myles Garrett plus 650, Aaron Donald plus 700, TJ Watt plus 700.
Think of it this way, Mince. 31.5, right? So I need 32.
It's 2 a game.
Yeah.
Or less. 'Cause I keep screwing up in my head the
No, it's
17.
18, so
I said,
I
no, the
was saying-
17-game thing does make these totals.
17.
Yes.
17 games. So I'm saying 1 a game, and then you need to go,
Touchdowns.
Two-
much
two-
2 a game.
two a
I think
game
it's
gets
more likely he's going to get 3 than he gets none. You know, like you got to base.
Sure.
You're guaranteed to get the 18, let's say, 1 a game in a passing league. I'd be shocked if he gets held out.
Literally just
But I
barring
think it's
injury.
more likely he gets 3, which gives me more gap
Right.
on the games where he
No,
does.
and Dak's pretty durable.
Actually,
I know. He's got.
Are you laying big minus on that? I feel like that's minus 150 if I was pricing that. Excuse me, if I was pricing that.
Over 31.5 plus 100, even money.
Wow.
That line, Westy. Take it now, boys. I like that a lot.
I'll be minus 160 tomorrow.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
That's
I really do.
Jay, what other props have tickled your mind that you've gone through so far that have stood out to you?
Breece Hall Rookie of the Year plus 700. I mentioned that the other day.
Do that on a 4-win team, but that's to you, buddy.
Brady MVP. It's going to sound homerish, but I mean, everyone thinks it's his last year. Are they not going to give it to him in his last year? He played at an MVP level last year.
I feel like Brady, the Arians thing got thrown under the bus, but I feel like Brady wanted him out, and he's going to want to do well without him there.
I don't put much.
You don't put stock into that?
No, I don't.
I don't know. It just seemed weird how he just ended up in administration. I don't know. That whole thing was odd. I'm just saying.
I can see how that can.
I mean, he said he was retiring, and the next thing you know, the defensive coordinator is the head coach, and the head coach isn't there anymore. So I don't know.
There was a
Maybe. What do I know? You know.
If only there was a book that laid all that out. That'd be great.
Amon-Ra St. Brown over 800.5 receiving.
I like
yards.
that a lot. No, because he was getting the target share for him.
Yes.
Last year was really, and I know, and Jameson Williams is coming off
gonna
the
be
torn
out for a
ACL.
while.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna.
And they play from behind a ton.
Yep, and it's minus 125. I like that a lot.
Okay.
That's my early read.
Okay.
I just took a brief scroll through this weekend, and those are my favorite ones.
Okay, and then have you looked at any team prop? You just done the fancy ones?
Like over under win totals.
Sure, or just anything.
I like the Panthers under 6 wins.
Yeah, we talked about that on Friday.
And then I like.
I feel like the Panthers.
The Cardinals under 9.
The Panthers could be 2-15 if the Mayfield thing falls off the tracks, and it could really. I could see them being the worst team. You know, if it goes bad, it could go really bad. Like it's very potentially there for them.
Yeah, I said it. We don't have like if you get worse record market, I think Panthers are worth a stab.
Yeah, I just feel like it could go. I don't know. It has the potential where if it flies off the rails, it really could fall off.
Here's one we were just talking about with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones comeback player of the year plus 1,400.
Who else is
What are
up
the
there?
other,
Who
like-
are the other ones up
What are
there?
the other like major?
Derrick Henry plus 300. I mean, Jameis Winston plus 500. Christian McCaffrey, Michael Thomas.
What's Michael Thomas?
Both of those guys plus 800.
The problem is Winston and Thomas are intertwined together, so it's like hard to pick one or the other.
How many games did Derrick Henry miss last year?
Good amount.
6 or 7. It was a while.
The second of the year.
Should that count?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
McCaffrey.
Did more than half the year
McCaffrey
and
thing
came
is
back
the
for the
X
playoffs?
factor. The McCaffrey thing.
Honestly,
is
the
Played
Daniel
8
Jones,
games, so he missed 9 games.
honestly, the Daniel Jones thing.
He
It's
played the playoffs.
he kind of was a comeback. He was never there.
Yeah.
He's not really coming back. It would just be him being good for the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
The arriving award.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
That's interesting. I don't know. The what do you think? I mean, I know you like to bag on it. What do you think? What can be expected of Mike Thomas this year?
I mean, is he? Serious question. Is he going to play? Is he even
Yes.
going to be in training camp?
Yes, he's going to play. I'm sure of
Is
it.
he going to be? Because the last regular season touchdown he scored, I think was pre-COVID. I think
It was.
Yeah.
It definitely was. No, because he had that high ankle
Hell of
sprain.
a stat. Imagine
He's
that
missed the whole last
cross.
season.
Yeah.
Well, no, he got that really bad high ankle injury week 1 against
Week 1.
Tampa. Tried to play through it and shouldn't have.
He scored a touchdown in the wild card game on Nickelodeon against the Bears.
Yeah.
But he has not
He
scored.
scored
a regular
one
season
since I've
touchdown.
been one of the only
Tell you
ones.
what, Michael Thomas' first touchdown scores would be electric. To get that on the bottom. First touchdown since COVID.
Actually, the reason I
First
remember
even
that one
day.
is because I had him first touchdown. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he scored the first touchdown of the game.
Of the playoff game.
So I think I had a big day. I had him and A.J. Brown. They both scored the first touchdown. I hadn't hit one all year and hit 2 in the same day.
Jarvis Landry's going to be good this year, I think.
Jay's like, no.
Oh, dude. Hell yeah, he's going to be
There is no wiggle room in him. He's like,
No, I do love that. I really do like Saints Bug stuff is
Just
fun.
chisel those motherfuckers in that.
Oh, it's
All right.
that's too funny. I wish we had more games to discuss today, but we do have the home run derby. I want to get through some picks. Let's
What
take a look.
lunch bet do I have with you? The Falcons? I saw
I said the Panthers would be better than the Falcons. I do agree with the sentiment that if Mayfield is bad, they could,
So I have the
they could easily win.
I have
like
the
2
Falcons
games.
on a better record, right?
Yeah.
They got Mariota.
They're a little more steady.
They got
Definitely
Mariota
more steady
reuniting.
probably.
Arthur Smith is Mariota's offensive coordinator in Tennessee, but I mean, do y'all remember how bad Mariota was? Like that, the year the Titans made the AFC Championship game, they were scoring like 10 points a game till week 6, till Tannehill got in there. And next thing you know, they were scoring 30 a game with Tannehill. So that was kind of damning.
Here's when I lock. You're asking for other player stuff.
Yeah, sure.
CeeDee Lamb, I said, I think is my pick to lead the NFL in receiving. His over/under receiving 1150.5. I think
That's
a
low.
lock.
What's
It's a low total too. Sorry, I was scrolling. Thielen over 750 receiving yards.
it's just a health.
He's not a
thing.
big yardage guy. He's a big touchdown guy.
And when Jefferson's going to go for like,
Jefferson's is like 13.
I was going to say it's got.
But
I
it
was going to
should
say
be.
1300.
It should be though.
No, it's just so
but if
high.
This
Thielen's
has huge
picking you
games.
apart. Yeah, I don't know. So I thought 750 was low when I scrolled. That's all.
I mean, Jefferson to lead the NFL in receiving, I think it's.
thought that was-
I know it's kind of
It's got to be like
chalky,
the
but
first, second, third favorite.
yeah, but I mean, it's just playing in that dome, and they're going to throw that now that they got an offensive. They switched from Zimmer to an offensive coach too. I think that could. I don't know. I don't think that's going to hurt him necessarily. Let's take a look at the standings. Look, everybody had great weekends. I know we've been getting bagged on, but Ev, you're out front now. Overall, look at the show here, Rico. I mean, good. I know my
needed
it's
a
not
big
great, but you were
weekend.
minus 20 a minute ago. That's a big
yeah, I needed
comeback.
a big weekend to get back.
Yeah, and then Ev now plus 12 units. I mean, I was like 8 or 9 down, and I'm plus 1. I mean, not I just got to say, look, people love to come at us when we're bad.
So more than half the show in the green.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we're overall up.
I think I swept Friday and Saturday. That's what did it for me.
Matt Schnell was plus 6.7 units for me Saturday. So that's what
Shout
bailed
out
me out.
John Rich, just a never-ending heater.
Still undefeated?
Yep,
Oh, wow.
15-0.
A tenth of a unit at a time.
Okay.
Chip away.
All right, home run derby is the only thing we got to pick today. God, I had a tough time going against Alonso after what happened last year, especially because he's still on that rookie contract, so he needs the money. But I took Ronald Acuna at 6-1. Just
How much do you get for winning the home run derby?
$1 million.
Really?
Last year he made like 600,000.
yeah, no, that's
Literally he almost doubled his salary.
I took
I guess in
Acuna,
theory
but
I
I
was triple
actually am not thrilled. I don't know. I'm sticking with
You
it.
fact-
gotta go with some
well,
plus. I mean, I took Alonso.
Well, him and stuff.
'cause
He's
I'm that
got to
guy,
play
and
Alonso first round, and he has to go first against Alonso, which I think is
Kinda
just
like
tough.
I kind of like Schwarber the way he's hitting the fucking ball.
Plus 290.
I know it's Philly, but
Alonso.
yeah, I'm on Alonso. I'm just saying.
He's the Joey Chestnut of the home run derby. He's just figured it. Like
He needs the
Has he
money.
won before?
he's won the last 2.
Yeah, he's
Oh, really?
no, and he needs. The problem is, like you said, he needs the money.
Right.
And
He gets more money out of this than he does
Shay.
his contract.
That's crazy. Why don't they do that for the dunk contest? $1 million.
Telling Shay, I'm going to show you the graphic of his picture,
Yeah.
or if TJ wants to post it, it's real quick. It's on Barstool Sports. We posted like an hour ago. Like he literally doesn't miss his pitcher. That's the chart of where his pitches land. He literally, his batting practice pitcher is so good.
Was it his dad?
Doesn't
Is it his dad?
No, I think it's their pitching coach.
That was.
Oh, you can have your own guy.
Yeah.
You get the-
Sometimes they have their dads throw to him.
Steve, he doesn't miss. Like, look
Pretty
where
good.
he puts the ball. He
Pretty
doesn't miss. They just have like such a system locked down, and I think the experience really does matter. Like, I think it really does help him. And he has that swing where like he's probably not gonna hit the longest home run of the day, but he's just gonna hit like 420-foot home runs just over and over, like just line drives over again. He has that great like level swing. Because what kills you too is with the time, you have to wait for the next pitch to like land or at least get over the wall. So when you have that big like upswing like Schwarber, you hit those like long pop ups. You got to sit there and wait for it. Like Lonzo just cranks out line drives, gets out fast. The faster they can come back in and hit him back out.
And this is in L.A., right?
In LA, yes.
That is a smaller fence in left field. They've got that little small down the line.
Altitude obviously not the best.
I know, but the line drives
hot
get out on that field.
That hot summer California air, I think ball's gonna be flying.
Rico, what you got today?
I'm on Alonso. I'm taking Alonso obviously for the trifecta. But the way Schwarber, you've been watching baseball every day. I think Schwarber is the guy that scares me the most, if you were. But he's the second
For sure.
odds-on guy too. So it's like everybody's gonna be like, oh, you're going chalk. I mean, it just is what it is.
And with Alonso, it helps too. Is I believe he would go second, so he gets to know what he needs.
Right.
Every round, I think, until the championship game, where if Schwarber's there,
Yeah.
he would have to go first.
Right.
Any other scenario besides Schwarber in the championship, he goes second.
Well, the other thing
every
too is you
round.
don't have to take. So, correct me if I'm wrong. If in the first round matchup, Acuna hits 8, Alonso just needs to hit.
He stops 9, yeah.
He stops.
Yes,
There is
it's
no
such an
more,
advantage.
Like, yeah, it's a major.
That's why it's such an advantage to go second. You don't got to waste your energy.
Thanks to TJ Zod, our crew as always. Shay, thanks for stopping by, talking some NFL. Rico and Ev, enjoyed it. Stay tuned. The Yak is up next.